Hello everyone, today we're here together with Tamsin and we will take a look at sovereignty together. Would you like to share some of your ideas and thoughts when you think of having a conversation with someone, being in a relationship with somebody? What is the role of sovereignty?
So relational sovereignty for me is one of the most incredible experiences you can have in life. You picture this moment where you're sitting with your person that you love, your daughter, your husband, your partner, and you say something that is your truth. In that moment, it feels kind of scary maybe, or like you're at your edge, but it feels like you're changing with them in relation to them. Their perspective of you is changing, you're changing. And it's an experience that I think is also one of the hardest experiences for sovereignty. So how do you maintain that truth? Within our bodies, we have this limbic system, which is the way we regulate emotionally and connect with others. We're kind of wired for connection. And when we take a risk, which sovereignty kind of requires, to be honest, to be truthful, when we take that risk, we feel it. And so we can choose to move into it and say, this is who we are, this is how we feel, or we can choose to move away from it and say, I would prefer to keep the peace. And so this kind of dance of relational sovereignty underpins really everything that we do. And I think the awareness of the experience of being true and honest and who we are in our relationships is something we don't give that much attention to. How does it feel in your body?
How do you know? Do you know immediately how,
What does it feel like?
What does it feel like?
Well, I guess I'll give an example. If my husband was to give me a look like he was cross with me, let's say, in our relational space, just a brief moment, in my stomach I might feel clench. I might be worried. I might go into anxiety. And this is my body, my limbic system saying, I'm about to go out of relationship potentially. And then my immediate response is whatever my response is, right? And everyone has a different one. So some people have a response where they want to react and jump in. And some people have a response where they say, let me hit pause. What's actually going on in my body right now? Because this is natural. We all have these natural reactions. But rather than to react, you can choose to respond. And to respond is to say, I'm present with my experience. I'm present with this person. What's happening right now? And I think relational sovereignty is your ability to choose your timing in a sense. To be present and conscious enough to understand this natural process of interplay enough that we can come to this point of truth. So his sovereignty, my sovereignty, we're not the same, but there is this dance in the middle. And I think we can't react and respond at the same time. It's one or the other. And this is, I guess, the choice that we make. One of the things I think is really interesting is that when we relate to people, we react depending on whether someone is similar to us or different. It's this kind of very, very old system that we have in our body where it comes from when you're in a tribe, right? And your tribe is protecting you and there might be a wild animal out there. And so you stick with your tribe, the people that you know. And we have this very old reaction within us. So when we're in a place where we're a bit threatened or there's difference, how do we remain sovereign in that context? And I think for me, there's some really great things we can bring into our day and our lives to do that. So one is listening. It seems so simple, but when we sit and listen to someone, we start to understand the similarities between us because we have a kind of a resonance. When we sit and listen, we're actually absorbing who the other person is and they're absorbing who we are in ways we can't understand, very subtle ways that are based on the connection that we have in our bodies, in our body language. So if you're in a context where you feel like you're losing sovereignty, it could be in a board discussion, it could be in a relationship, you can just take the time to ask a question and really listen, and it can change the way our whole physiology is in that space. And another way of doing it is to become more friendly with your experience. To simply say to yourself, or out loud if you want, right now I'm feeling a bit heightened. I'm going to just pause. Not react, but just pause. In a way, kind of watching your experience from an elevated place rather than being tied up in these feelings, which are utterly natural. So I think there are really great ways that we can remain sovereign in relationships and continue to speak our truth and become more conscious leaders.